Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zeng. Today I will talk about several seemingly unrelated cases: former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's assassination, and an old case in Sydney, in which the attacker of a quit the CCP van was able to walk away with a psychiatric diagnosis. I will also talk about the incident of the memorial tablets of 5 Japanese war criminals found in a temple in Nanjing City in China, as well as the CCP's latest threat against Japan and the US this morning. After listening to these seemingly unrelated cases, you may find that these cases are not really unrelated at all. So make sure you stick around till the end. It was reported that the alleged assassin of Abe will be detained until late November for mental evaluation so prosecutors can determine whether to formally press charges and send him to trial for murder. When a friend alerted me about this news, my first reaction was, this is an old plot. Why? Because it reminded me of an old case I covered in 2005 in Sydney, Australia. And this is the tax driver Li Qizhong in Sydney. He was also a volunteer of the global service of the Quit CCP movement. Quit the CCP movement was inspired by a series of articles titled 9 Commentaries on the Communist Party published by the Epoch Times in 2004, and it quickly became a global movement to encourage and help Chinese people inside and outside of China to quit the CCP and its affiliated organizations, including the Youth League and the CCP's Young Pioneers. And you can see from this screenshot, up to date, nearly 400 million people have quit the CCP and its affiliated organizations. So back in 2005, when this movement just started, and there were so many people who hadn't quit yet. So in order to promote the quit the CCP concept, Li Qizhong turned his van into a quit the CCP van. So with a lot of pictures and text about the CCP's crimes painted on it, on top of the pictures and the Chinese text, there was also an English sentence which reads, "History tells us the Chinese Communist Party is an evil cult." And this is another side of his van. Not long after his van was painted like this, Li found it was damaged more than 10 times. Sometimes its tires got punctured, sometimes its windows got smashed. Even Li's other car, an ordinary-looking car without any quit the CCP element on it, was also damaged twice. So you can imagine how frustrated he must have been. He tried to change his parking place all the time, but no matter where he parked his van, it got damaged all the same. So at the midnight on August 7, 2005, Li found once again that all his van tires were punctured. See, this is the flat tire. So from past experiences, he somehow felt more damage was going to happen. In order to catch the perpetrator, Li waited inside the van with a camera. After about 4 hours painstaking wait, and 4 a.m. in the morning, sure enough, an Asian man appeared in front of his van. See, this is when he was approaching the van. Then He smashed the front glass with a brick. And this is the moment right after he smashed the glass. So Li Qizhong filmed the entire process from inside the van, but failed to catch this man. The Asian-look man ran away. And then, about 23 days later, at about 3 a.m. on August 31st, the same man appeared again. This time, he sprayed a strong-smelling liquid on the body and tires of the CCP van. Li was again waiting for him and immediately called the police. The man ran again when realizing that he was found. Li drove his van to follow him, and 5 minutes later, the police arrived and arrested the man. Later on, the police found a can of lighter fluid thrown to the side of the trash bin, and the fluid was the same as what was sprayed on Li's van. So this indicated that the man had wanted to burn Li's quit the CCP van. On September 21st, the District Criminal Court of New South Wales held a hearing on this case. The man was identified as Otto Lin. He pleaded guilty, but his lawyer argued that he has mental illness. I attended the hearing and interviewed Li Qizhong as a reporter with the Chinese language edition of the Epoch Times. And this is the report I wrote then. It turned out that Otto Lin was also a taxi driver and obtained his license in 1990. So in the 15 years from 1990 until he was caught in 2005, there had not been any irregularities in his driving record. And Li Qizhong said, as a taxi driver, every year one had to undergo a medical checkup. If Otto Lin really had a mental problem, it should have been detected. Li Qizhong said he did not believe that Otto Lin had a mental problem. He had witnessed him vandalize his van 3 times in the middle of the night, and all 3 times the van was parked in different locations. He did not believe that a mentally ill person could accurately track the van. On August 31st, after Otto Lin was caught red-handed while trying to burn the van, he showed a rather cool head. He did not try to return to his car to escape. Instead, he ran into a trail on foot in the opposite direction. If Li Qizhong had not stayed up all night waiting for him, he would not have found out that Lin was also a taxi driver and taken down his license plate number. When Lin was caught by the police, his entire body was shaking. When the police asked him why he was shaking, he quickly replied, "You were all wearing long-sleeved clothes, but I was wearing a short-sleeved shirt, and I was cold, so I was shivering." When the police asked him why he would want to damage Li's quit the CCP van, he said he was offered $100 to do it, and the person who paid him just wanted to make a joke. The police said they didn't believe this excuse at all. When Otto Lin appeared in court, he held a Bible in his hand and looked very uneasy. And after the court proceeding, he is in the middle of this photo. He refused any interviews, and when he noticed reporters taking pictures of him, he quickly covered his face with his Bible and left in a hurry. So as far as I could see, he could make judgments very quickly and respond very quickly too. Later on, Otto Lin really walked away from his charges with a psychiatric certificate. He wasn't held responsible for any of the damages he did to Li's van. Li had spent hours trying to catch him in the cold, dark night and was able to film the entire process of him smashing the front glass of the van as solid evidence. Out of all the vans in Sydney, Lim chose the one with the sentence, "History tells us the Chinese Communist Party is an evil cult to damage." Wasn't the political motivation obvious enough? Li said he didn't know Otto Lim at all, so there couldn't be any personal grudges. But the perpetrator was able to walk away with a psychiatric diagnosis. As a matter of fact, after a WeChat screenshot showing a Chinese user called 重装小兔19C, which can be translated roughly as heavily equipped little rabbit 19C, claimed 17 hours before Abe's assassination that he had successfully got close to the current and former Prime Minister of Japan, and he would complete the tasks given to him by the CCP, was spread on the internet, and shortly after, Professor Yuan Hongbin claimed that Abe's assassination was conducted by the CCP's secret member in Japan via the special task program initiated by the CCP's International Liaison Department. People said that even if the CCP is really behind Abe's assassination, it is almost likely that no evidence whatsoever would ever show up to prove it. Abe's death will just become another unsolved case with the real evildoer behind it never found or exposed. What we can see on the surface is recently, not long after the revelry of celebrating Abe's death passed in China, another round of public outcry against Japan spread rapidly in China like wildfire after a photo of Buddhist memorial tablets of Japanese war crimes at a temple in Nanjing City was posted online. And Nanjing is exactly the city where Nanjing massacre happened. After major CCP mouthpieces such as the People's Daily and China Daily reported on this and condemned it as having seriously hurt the feelings of the Chinese people and is simply an insult, public anger almost burned the internet. And a protest also appeared in the real world, where hundreds gathered in front of the temple and shouted, "Revitalize China, defeat the reactionaries," as the name of the person who inscribed the memorial tablets is Wu Aping. Some people also started to figure out what lay behind the name. They said Wu Aping must be a code language of something, and the real meaning is actually First Army of the Imperial Japanese Navy, or First Escort Group of the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force. Thus, the tablets became another piece of evidence of the Japanese right-wing militarism conspiracy in China. So under the pressure of public anger, authorities in Nanjing City quickly responded by announcing that the Xuanzhuang Temple, where the tablets were enshrined, would be closed for rectification, and the abbot of Xuanzhuang Temple and the director of Nanjing Religious Affairs Bureau would be removed from the post. Several other officials would also be punished. The police would start an investigation into this matter, etc. However, people soon found out that many things around this incident just did not add up. According to the official report, the photo of the tablets was taken in February. Why was it only posted in July? Also, after the photo was taken in February, the temple had already taken down the tablets. Why the sudden anger against something that was no longer there? Also, Wu Aping actually had altogether enshrined 6 tablets, 5 of which were dedicated to Japanese soldiers. One was for American missionary teacher Wilhelmina Minnie Waltrin, who protected Chinese refugee seekers during the Nanjing massacre. But why were only the tablets for Japanese soldiers posted online, with the tablet for the American teacher who protected the Chinese cut off from the photo? And then on July 24th, the Nanjing government published an announcement saying Wu Aping is a 31-year-old woman who once worked as a nurse but quit her job and became a lay Buddhist in 2019. The reason she wrote the 5 Japanese war criminals was that she often had bad nightmares after she learned about the atrocities of the Nanjing massacre. So she enshrined their tablets in the hope that those war criminals could be released from their crimes and suffering and help ease his own mental suffering as well. Wu Aping was soon arrested and detained over picking quarrels and provoking trouble, a charge that could lead to a 5-year prison sentence. And he was also forced to do a television confession and apologize to people who have been hurt by her. But people continue to condemn her and wouldn't forgive her. In just a few days, this Japanese war criminal tablets incident has drawn so much public attention and taken so many different turns in different directions. People's emotions were also driven upside down for many times, just like they were making a roller coaster ride. But the entire incident is so bizarre that one wonders what the truth behind it really is and what the CCP is trying to achieve in China, where public opinion is highly manipulated. This morning, that is July 28th, at the press conference of the Ministry of National Defense of China, a reporter asked a question about the so-called U.S. military's deployment of intermediate-range ballistic missile in Japan. Let's watch a short video to see what the question is and how the CCP spokesman responded.
美国推动在日本部署中导是一个危险的动向，将严重威胁地区国家的安全，严重破坏地区和平稳定。如付诸实施，中方必将予以坚决反制。美日对此不应抱有任何幻想。
Well, we all know what a fuss the CCP has made over the THAAD anti-missile system in Korea, right? If the US were really to deploy intermediate-range ballistic missile in Japan, that means the US missile could directly strike at Beijing, right? If that is the case, what will the CCP do? So for me, this morning's press conference sent a very worrying signal. If the information about the CCP's reunification of Taiwan will begin with Sakakos is true, it could mean that the CCP is further creating excuses to declare war against Japanese neo-militarism and the inevitable war against Taiwan and Japan seems more imminent. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my content, please spread my channel and videos or go to my website at jenniferzengblog.com. Sign up for a membership or make a donation to show your support. Thank you. See you next time.